You guys suck.
Oh man. Well, speaking of never listening to anyone, Navi. Navi joined Aura Esports in the MPL ID Season 7 and Geek Fam in MPL ID Season 9 as a team who failed to get a win in a single season. XP laners are just like, we gotta cut, and then
when I play EXP lane, I stay in the lane for 2 minutes.
I think I speak for XP laners.
And then after that, I'm like, yo, jungler, you want that? You want those new ninjas? Which, by the way, guys, the minions and the Lord got a skin before Phoveus.
Do they want to use? So it really depends on how they want. It really depends on not just by saying just trust the process, stay with this roster. I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying the truth, yeah.
Yeah. We like the truth. It's okay. We can be toxic here, Coach.
No, we love it. We love it.
Welcome to Gank and Gather.
Love it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gank and Gather Episode 2. For today's episode, we have some special guests coming your way later on, but for now, we will be jumping into our most important headlines for this episode. We'll be heading into recall moments, and starting off this segment, we will be jumping into MPL Indonesia. So, MPL Indonesia,
hold on.
currently, right now.
Dude, you do the intro and then you introduce us. Oh! And then you go into the segment. Bro, what the hell?
Sorry. I forgot to introduce you guys.
Yeah. Like, introduce yourself, introduce us. We'll say our shit, and then you go, what the Brigida?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gank and Gather Episode 2. And for today's episode, once again, we will be having Laphel, who is smiling right now, and I feel like he has
dysfunction is a problem.
Yeah, I feel like he has a way better mood compared to episode 1. And we will be also joined by Sir Mirko, who is yet to turn around. Sir Mirko, I can't read his face.
Hello.
How can you read someone's face?
People
don't usually have words on their face. I mean, like, some people tattoo their face, but Mirko does it.
My hair?
No, it looks.
What's wrong with your hair?
It looks better.
What's wrong with my hair?
I think blonde looks good on you.
So black hair looks bad?
No, I mean, like, compared to the first time I
wouldn't mind
saw
having silver hair.
No, because the first time he dyed his hair red, it was too bright. Boom. And now they're doing a fist bump in front of me, so I feel like they're on the same wavelength, but like, okay. So we are back again for episode 2, but later on we will be joined by 2 special guests as well.
Really?
So do you want to give some hints on who those problems? Are? Huh?
Because you said they're special.
No.
I just want to know, like, what do you mean when you say they're special?
They're very important persons.
Very important. Yeah. One's a VP.
Very, very important guest, and then we just have a very special host.
I see what you did there, Laphel. I see what you did there. We're all special in our own way.
Shout outs to those that require antidepressants.
You want to recall some moments here?
Okay, I do. And I'm put on my news anchor mode for this segment to start off the episode. So, starting off the recall moments, we will be jumping into MPL Indonesia. So,
let's go.
Here we go. Despite roster changes with Albert and Key joining the team, EVO still failed to reach the playoffs.
What? Again.
Second headline for MPL Indonesia. Navi could join Aura Esports in the MPL ID Season 7 and Geek Fan in the MPL ID Season 9 as the team who failed to get a win in one season.
What?
No! Record!
Oh my god.
Laphel, we might
I'm
be
sure there's
seeing
more.
history.
Just scroll below. There's more. I think.
There's more. We'll be heading into MPL Philippines this time around. The league has entered the playoff stage with TLPH and Aurora standing in the upper bracket.
I mean, it's whatever.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. I'm honestly too depressed to move, so I'll just stay here.
I mean, we can't say for sure. A lot of things can still happen, and we are yet to find out who the MSC representatives are, but I think we can give out some quick predictions and possibilities as to what our expectations might be heading into the playoffs.
TLPH! Onyx PH!
And there's his prediction. What about you, Laphel?
I didn't even watch. What do you want me to say? I don't know. TNC.
Okay, we'll just
That's a good prediction.
find a surprise later on.
Thank you.
Personally, for me, I would also say either TLPH, Aurora, Falcons, or Ironic PH.
Dude, stick to one.
yeah.
Don't be. Oh, dude, this is why we don't like you.
Hey! Okay, fine. I'm a pick 2. Maybe for later.
Okay.
No, I'm a pick 2 right now. So maybe I'm going with TLPH and Onyx Philippine. Maybe.
You just copied my answer.
Maybe. I'd love to be proven. I answered this the other day. Like, I can pull up proof that this was already my prediction weeks prior to this. But moving on, let's head into Laphel's region, MPL
What's that,
Malaysia.
Cambodia? Oh.
SRG OG win
I didn't even know how to
streak
respond.
run with a 7-0 win rate. Will it
Wow.
be another
What a
season
surprise.
for SRG OG to dominate the league? I'm looking at
Wow.
Laphel's face, right? Oh, so that's why he was wearing
They
this
got a
face.
nice jersey, by the way. I
Yo,
got the
Laphel,
OG jersey already.
When are
It
they
was good.
going to change the name to a more accurate MPL? You know, it's not MPL Malaysia, it's MPL SRG.
SRG doesn't have that much money to change the entire league's name, but eventually.
Okay.
Do you guys know the players actually met with the prince, and then the prince gave them like a badge of honor?
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
pretty sick. The
It is.
Selangor Prince, yeah?
Yes. Some
Okay.
people did have a fever. Yeah. It is pretty sick.
So they got the Medal of Honor for the Fever or for the MSC?
for the just playing Mobile Legends Bang Bang in general, because it's a great
sign me
game
up.
and they're very good at it. Yeah.
Okay. But what about your thoughts about Homeboys, though? They're second. They're very close to SRG OG's current record.
They
Is Anami and Stormy are my boys, so I'm just happy for the both of them. Don't make me choose my child.
Okay. Okay. I think we are.
Move on. What other MPLs do we got to talk about?
Okay, fine. Let's head into the next region. That's MPL Cambodia, where CFU Gaming qualified to MSC 2025 with its full Cambodian rosters. Oh my god.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
That's
Boxy
great.
and OP mid lane. He's played
I'm
all
surprised.
5 roles.
I'm surprised that they had that big of a change, but I can't help but remember the time where CFU Gaming suddenly beat TLPH back in SBS, and everyone just got surprised by them, and I think they put themselves on the radar. So let's see how they're able to perform this coming MSC. They have such a long time to prepare, and for I think our next region, NACT, BTK won the
As expected,
NACD,
baby.
but this time
Okay.
without Popazane.
Their key strategy, batting out that Jawhead. Without that Jawhead, easy sweep.
I was gonna say, Mobazane, he was actually there. It was just he was using the DJY way of participating. The bench.
That right.
What exactly is the
Oh, yeah.
DJY way of participating?
But no,
bench.
that right.
The bench, brother. That's what it is. Sitting on the bench. We call him.
Someone needs to warm it up.
Laphel, what's his moniker in Malaysia? Because we have a moniker. Yeah.
Yeah, the Killable Demon Bench King.
There you go. For me, in Indo, we call him the demon in the back rooms.
Damn son.
Where?
Damn son.
Yeah,
Why did
real.
I hear the God in the bench?
you did.
The God in the bench. I mean,
I
that's
said
pretty
that
true
too.
as well.
Yes, that's one of the.
He has many
nicknames.
monikers.
Yeah.
He has
But
too many
by the way,
monikers.
guys, we have a lot of topics, but I think the most important one, MPLSG finally started.
Oh!
Right? Right?
I'm actually pretty sad about it.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, but like,
It's
So shall we go back to MPL?
Once I give them more money, give them more budget. All right, what do we have to do? Yeah, let's start right with MPL Indo. Albert and Key, they didn't go to the playoffs. That's insane, Mirko.
Dude, this is the first season ever in their careers, Albert and Key, that they failed to make it to the playoffs. And it's crazy to think because Evos were such a good team at the start of the season. We were all expecting them to at least qualify the playoffs. I'm not too sure about upper brackets. I personally didn't have them. They're up in the top 2, even though they were top 2. But to see them go from number 2 all the way to number 7, not making it to the playoffs with the lineup that they have is ridiculous, in my opinion. And I don't know where to start. I really don't, because there were a ton of problems for Evos. The roster issues at the start with some of their players having, scandals and stuff and having to be replaced last second, to in the season itself still shuffling between players. But I can round it up to, again, shuffling different players. This is a strategy that Evos have kind of gone with for the last 6 seasons, the last 5 seasons, all right? Yeah. All the way from season 10 to 15, they've always really liked shuffling their players. And out of season 10 to 15, we've only seen them make it to playoffs twice. Season 11 and 13. That's it. The rest of the seasons, all 3, they didn't make it. So I just don't understand what the idea is with the management right now. Why do you constantly want to change players? And why do they put such a high emphasis on reading? And well, reading is fine. Reading the comment section is fine. But listening to the comment section, listening to the netizens, it has to be one of the worst management advice that they can take. Listening to the comments. 90% of the people in the comments are trolls. The other 10% are dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I 100% know what you mean.
Laphel, they had this roster, with Reggie, Natco in the mid lane, Albert Key, and Erlan.
Mirko.
They swapped out Natco for Suelo, because Suelo is a mid laner. Natco was an XP gold laner that just was there to fill in the role. Sure. Then, after one bad performance, still being number 3 in the standings, with one bad performance, and even then, in the highest stake matchup in the whole season against RRQ in the Classic Derby, Erlan failed in that series. With that one series, after the first 3 weeks of him being amazing, they started to make him the scapegoat. They started to blame him. The legend started calling him out, telling the whole Evo squad to sell Erlan to... This guy was getting ridiculous hate. And all for what? For one match. And the management listened. They promoted Brands back up. And not to say that I don't love Brands, because he's my boy. He's XBTR, bro. But stop listening to the netizens. Make your own decisions. You hired professionals, Avil, Caleb, to give you advice, yet you're listening to 5-year-olds on the internet. What are you doing?
Mirko, I understand so much, because you know what's funny? That happened in Malaysia.
Well, what team?
Todak. And it's
with these big orbs, man.
And here's the thing. It's the same situation. There's a very high chance they don't go to the playoffs. The only thing that's different, it is exactly the same thing. They had a roster that got number 3 in the last season of MPL. And then they brought in that roster here in MPL Malaysia with a 100% win rate. And then they change, and they've only won once after the change. They haven't won anything after that, and now they're suffering from not going to playoffs. The big difference is, Mirko, between Evos and Todak, the manager here got fired. Yeah. No, honestly, I feel bad, but does that happen in the Philippines, Brigida? Some.
I can't say. I think
No?
if it's just
No?
in terms
All
of that,
right,
there's
Philippines
a.
is different.
Hey, wait. Let me say what I think, because I feel like there's a contrast then if we're talking about the Philippines and all that's happening between Evos and Todak, as mentioned by Laphel, because if it were to be the same case in the Philippines, then I think it's common knowledge for a lot of us that JP is probably one of the biggest targets of a lot of the a lot of the people online just keep saying JP, you gotta replace JP, but
It's JP's fault.
see if they did do that, if they did listen, then we probably wouldn't see TLPH this way right now.
Exactly.
After waiting for some time and after changing their coaching staff, then they're just suddenly like this. So see,
So you're telling me, Brig, that if I listen to the coaches I hire, to the professionals I hire to give me advice, that I will get good advice over listening to the netizens at home?
yeah, because you hire professionals.
I'm sorry, but that's a pretty hot take. I don't know how to feel about that one. That too spicy for me, too inferno-ish for me. Like listening to professionals instead of people on the
That
internet.
doesn't make
like,
sense.
That
Doesn't make sense.
Like I don't know.
You always have to listen to comments.
We live in different borders here, man. Like that's.
I agree. Break. What is even the Philippines? Listening to professionals.
You guys suck.
Oh man. Well, speaking of never listening to anyone, Navi. Sorry, Navi joined Aura Esports in the MPL ID Season 7 and Geek Fam in MPL ID Season 9 as a team who failed to get a win in a single season. Now, Navi wouldn't actually just join Aura and Geek Fam. They would also join TNC. But not only will they join TNC, Aura, and Geek Fam, they're not just gonna break. They're not just gonna match the record. They're gonna shatter it. They're 0-14 already. They've already matched Aura Season 7, Geek Fam Season 9, and TNC Season 14. And their next two matches, Laphel.
You guys can't beat Malaysia.
Laphel.
What?
You wanna know?
Yeah, I want to know.
You want? Okay. You wanna know who Navi's gonna go up against next week?
Oh, all right. Give me.
They're gonna go up against Evos, and then last match, RRQ.
They got a shot. You just need one.
Yeah.
I agree. They have a shot.
They have a shot.
They have a shot to shatter Wolves' record.
No. I'm sorry.
No?
I'm sorry. This is where I stand my ground. You guys going like what? What is it? 0-14?
0-14.
Rookie numbers. Absolute rookie numbers. Here in Malaysia,
Wait, what have you done?
we do 0-30.
Wait, someone has gone 0-30?
A team went all the way defeated for 2 seasons in a row.
Wait, what team? What team is this?
Team Secret. This is Team Secret,
it was
yeah?
Team Secret. It's one thing to never win a single game in one season. Imagine doing it for 2. And then at the end of the second season, you got 1 win. At that point, all haters, they cheered. They're like, you guys finally did it. Like, that was the moment. No toxicity was there in Malaysia. Like, everyone stopped talking about any kind of trash. They're just like, you know what, Secret? You deserve it. You finally got it. You're not going to be here the next season, but you did it.
You know, some things are better left off as just a secret.
I hope they come back. Just get a good roster.
Yeah. Again, though, for Navi, I don't think they can really be disappointed. Like, the management can't really be disappointed in this outcome because I think everybody and their moms predicted this outcome. Like, maybe
My
not
mom
the
did say that,
0-16, but not making it to playoffs. I think the roster that they went for is a very, I wouldn't even say safe. It was a very, they were cheaping out. I'll be honest with you, with the roster, right? Everybody thought with Navi coming in, they would buy a team, they would acquire a team, they would acquire a few big name players to at least compete for playoffs. But clearly, they were looking just to lay the foundation of what is going to be Navi MLBB, because clearly they didn't. And if they did expect this roster to win MPL, they might need a psychiatrist.
I can introduce them.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking if it could be like a similar scenario to teams who have nothing to lose, like AP Bren and MPL Philippines. But the thing is, it's different for AP Bren because we constantly say that we see improvements, like as the weeks go by.
You guys are too
Rick,
nice.
They acquired the entire Lazy Esports, right? They
Yeah.
acquired the MDL champions. Navi, they maybe could have done something of the sort, acquire some really high. I don't know. Yeah, never mind. Let's go to Philippines, man.
Okay, let's go to Philippines. We did mention earlier how TLPH and Aurora are currently at the top of our standings, but like this by far, probably every time I ask around, they just find it so difficult to predict what will happen in the playoffs and like who gets to secure the top 2.
Just roll the
spots for, like,
dice.
the
What's so hard?
MC
Hold on. Let
slots.
me do it. Let me roll the
Okay.
dice. Roll the dice.
Is he actually
Dice.
rolling the dice?
He's rolling the dice.
Right. I'm gonna roll
Based on placements, okay?
Okay, so this is number 4. Who's number 4 in the regular season?
Number
That's
4.
Falcons.
All right, they'll be the champions. It's not that hard. Predicting it shouldn't be that hard.
I agree. It's
Okay.
very easy. Just do it.
So
Laphel.
that's Laphel's prediction.
You guys can roll
He's
the
going
dice if
with
you guys want.
Falcons.
Just Google roll the dice.
Roll the dice. Roll. Oh, this is so cool. It actually has an animation. Mine's 6.
I got 6 twisted
I got
minds.
6.
Oh! Oh!
We both
That's our
got twisted
prediction.
minds.
So Twisted
Right.
Minds and 1 Falcons. That's our prediction.
Oh.
No, Laphel, I don't want to do that. I don't. No.
Well, I mean,
I want to stick to the bit, but there's no way.
Y'all suck.
I saw Lexi the other day though, at the mall, and like
Oh.
she was asking, so what are your predictions for playoffs day 1? And I said I couldn't answer yet, but she just told me to watch out. But they're going up against Onyx, so
Whoa.
let's see.
Yeah. Okay, Brig. There's a reason
What?
why they call themselves Twisted Minds.
Yes, that's one too. Yeah.
We're gonna twist a lot of people's minds, especially my good friend from the Philippines, a young man from the Philippines, Mr. Joseph Rezabek. I think in M4 he told me that a team twisted their minds off or something. But personally, for me, I think it's gonna be Onyx PH and TLPH. So just give you my top 2 teams here. Even though Aurora looked good and they are number 2 in the standings, I'm gonna sound like an Aurora hater. I already have a lot of Aurora haters hating on me because I never predict Aurora. But I'm sorry, Aurora haters. I don't hate Aurora. I just feel like TLPH and Onyx PH do look like the 2 best teams in the Philippines right now. Obviously, I hope it's not the case. I don't want to go up against TLPH, Onyx PH. I would much rather go up against Twisted Minds and TNC. So I really hope it's not Onyx PH and TLPH. The Indonesian in me wants to see AP Bren and Omega, honestly.
I don't think I can say
Right,
much. Yeah, it's just I have the
I'm
same
with you
prediction.
there,
So
buddy, but I still feel like they'll smash it, so whatever.
I would like your worst MDL team.
Let's make it fair. Right? Let's make it fair.
Okay.
So I'm sorry on behalf of Love. I think that's enough for the Philippines. No one wants to talk about. No one wants to like find out who is gonna come out on top.
I'm
Just leave
excited
it
to
for
watch
later.
it, man.
We're excited to watch it, but like not the regions are probably not excited to know who they're going up against. So I think it's time to head into Laphel's either rant or
Ooh.
happy segment, depending on.
No. Here's the thing. If you guys asked me a few weeks ago, I would have ran. I would have ran by chewing my microphone off. But honestly, the past few weeks, this is the Malaysia that I know. Like, take whatever meta the Philippines has created, and then take whatever meta the Indonesians has created. And then afterwards, they just go to a restaurant and then just have some food and be like, "Hey, we haven't used that hero for a while." And then they used it, and then it looked good. So I like that in Malaysia because SRG, they have won, right? And the thing is, they've never won convincingly. It looks close-ish, not close-ish, lah, but
Okay.
meaning like it's like a whatever win. Like for people that are fans of SRG OG, they be like, "Yeah, you won, but I guess it's okay." Like we're a bit worried when you guys go to international. You guys may not look that strong, but then
Yeah.
this week came, and then it's against Homeboys. Homeboys was undefeated, so people thought this will be an amazing clash. Like both teams get to fight the same level, the same strength. And then SRG OG just came and whispered in their ears, "You will know despair." Like SRG OG turned it up so high. They changed their draft from top to bottom, used heroes they never ever used in the MPL since week 1. And Homeboys got smashed so hard. Like Sakai's, he looked terrible in the season. And in that match against Homeboys, he finally got the Ling. Week 1 up till week 4, he only used the Joy, never used anything else. But on that match, second pick Ling. No worries, no nothing. Second pick up the Ling, and he demolished everyone. And Cram
It's
is
almost
just
like the meme.
and Cram unkillable on a Baxia EXP.
Oh wow.
And Stormy
XP.
and Stormy brought out a Xavier that can Mystic Field 5 people.
That sounds like Prime SRG.
Yeah, that sounds like
no legit.
MSC
Like
SRG.
if you watch that game, you'll be like, holy! Like they've been holding back all this while. And even in the interview, the coaches were like, yeah, honestly, like we just like coasted this entire season, but then watching homeboys play, like they really know how to play. So we took this 1 week very seriously. We decided to cook up a draft. So they got a new coach coming in that was from a different game. That was a good friend of Becky's. His name is Winter. But but basically they took a few days and they said they completely understood the meta from heroes that's never been used to the heroes that are being used right now. They've already found answers for the Kimmy. They already found answers for the Gloo and all of that. And you would say like, oh, they're just like talking rubbish. But then when you watch them play, you're like, okay, they were actually holding back the entire season. Only this time they're like, okay, you guys are strong. Time to show you how big the difference is. Number 1 and number 2 really is. Which is
crazy.
honestly kind of cool. Honestly, kind of cool.
Yeah.
They definitely gain aura while doing
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you know? Dude, it's like the meme, like when the guy's playing like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, all right, it's time to play real time, and then he gets
Yeah.
back up and stands back up, because I
can-
already knew, even with
Yeah.
the shaky SRG, I thought for sure it would still be SRG season, but now that you're telling me SRG have literally been holding back the entire time, I'm not even talking about MPL anymore.
I have
how's
a
MSC
picture.
later?
I have a picture of Cram doing more damage to Kimmy while standing still.
Okay. Is that what the Vengeance?
No,
Yeah.
no, he used Revitalize.
Blade armor.
Yeah, blade armor with the Boxia. Legit, the damage bounce from the Kimmy is double the damage that Boxia took. Yeah. Like, talk about aura farming. He just stood in front of 3 to 4 members of Homeboys, and he dealt more damage to them while standing still.
Respect.
Was this a Kimmy mid or a Kimmy gold?
Kimmy mid. Innocent used Kimmy gold, and it looked unfair. But to be fair, like Innocent on the second game with the Granger, he extended his laning phase up until towards the base. Like when the marksman was low, he chased into the jungle and shot him until he went to the base walking. Like, talk about like aura farming. Like, I'm gonna push you out of the lane, and then I'm gonna push you out of the jungle.
Okay. So there's something about SRG and MSC.
Like now I have like a bit of hope. Before this, I'm like, yeah, we might struggle, but at this point, like, we may not be champions, but it's gonna be a good run. It's gonna be a good run.
I'm excited. I'm excited for MSC then, Again,
Yeah.
we know that the Philippines is very competitive. At least the top 4 is like very, very close. In Indo, it's getting really competitive too, aside from RRQ. I think MSC is going to be a blast.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be. We'll see the meta, of course, right? Because I heard Link's gonna
Especially
get
with-
buff, Roger's gonna get buff.
Wait, really?
Oh.
There's a lot. I heard Teresla's gonna get buff, Xbor's gonna get buff. Like, legit, I feel like 8 to 9 heroes got buff that could really use it. If you give me a moment, I can look it up.
I'm excited. I'm really excited, especially again with CFU here. What about you guys? Do you have anything to say about about CFU and their Cambodian roster?
For me, I would say
I don't know,
Cambodia
they're like
is always a
Yeah.
contender, because we've been there before, and even in their ranked games, especially when it comes to assassins and junglers, man, like they're really good. So I really feel like they're mechanically gifted, and like Brick said, they finish earlier compared to a lot of people, so they should have a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah, cause like the time where they were just surprising everyone with the way they beat TLPH or even like some of the top teams, that was like a year ago. And even though they changed up their roster a bit, like their main 5 ever since, it's still there. Like Z is still there as like a substitute, and he's been with the team for quite some time. So I feel like they're really able to work more on their overall like play style and improvements and all that. So Cambodia is looking like a really interesting region, a promising region for the upcoming international tournaments for me.
Well, I think it's time then to move on to the next segment and to the next topic, because I think this one is pretty. I don't know. For me, I definitely had this team winning this tournament, NACT. It's BTK winning NACT 2025 without Mobazane. I think without Mobazane, it is actually strengthened a bit of this lineup, especially domestically. The only problem I have, or the only doubts I have for BTK with Best Player 1 and not Mobazane, is how they would perform internationally. Because Best Player 1 has always kind of been the better jungler on Assassins than Zayn. I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people know that as well as a fact. But internationally, the main problem for Best Player 1 for the longest time has been he just doesn't perform. Maybe it's a mentality issue. Maybe it's just the level of competitiveness being completely different in the jungle, in NA only, right? Compared to the world. Maybe he's Best Player 1 in NA, but in the world, he's just a player 1.
Yeah, honestly, watching, I just hope they did what they did before and boot camp somewhere else. Because looking at their grand finals, it looked good because the first 2 games, their opponents got the win. But then after betting out a Jawhead, and then them just forcing the Cho roam, like BTK won, I would say pretty easily, right? So I kind of feel like they won because of the draft, and I feel they need some kind of practice to win not just the draft, but in terms of the mechanics as well as the macro. As long as they have a little bit of experience either boot camping in Indonesia or Philippines, it should be pretty fine. And I do agree with Mirko because I heard that even fans of BTK were doubtful of Best Player 1. But looking at his performance, looking at the chemistry of the team overall, it looks like more people are more accepting of him. But now he just has to prove on the international stage because I think even he himself knows that he hasn't been performing like in MSC and stuff like that. So he really needs to show up this time.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Mobazane's still going to be there either way. So I was actually wondering, since I feel like there have been, or at least here in the Philippines, I'm starting to see a lot more Yisun Shin players come into play. So like I don't know, like by the time, right? At least they'd somehow have someone to fill in that role if it ever is necessary for them. But hopefully they get to work on Best Player 1 since it's looking really good for BTK based on how they were able to win an ACT.
And I think for me, it's not just the Yisun Shin, but it's also the fact that, at least for BTR, they've used Baxia and Fredrin in the jungle more than they have used Assassins in the jungle in Week 8. So it shows that these utility junglers can still work. And like Laphel said, the Baxia XP even works. So in the jungle for BTR, they've, I think, only lost Onyx once. And it was banned by Onyx after that. So even Onyx had to be like, all right, they didn't ban it, sorry. They picked it away from them. They were also kind of like, okay, it's pretty good. We have to deny it away from BTR. Yeah. So if, BTK in the internationals later on want to try it, definitely something that Mobazane can still use to still be very, very impactful in the meta. But obviously, in this meta, especially with Laphel, what Laphel just said, that the Assassins or like Ling are going to be up back again, I think we'll still see more Best Player.
And now we're going to talk about MPL Singapore. Can we actually talk about it? Like, I don't know. Should we cut this? Cause like,
I don't know. For me, MPL SG almost seems like it's just MPL Flash. It's just what I said for SRG, but way worse. Like for SRG, it's kind of like a joke because you actually do have homeboys and a couple of teams who can contest. But for Singapore, I don't know. Like, yes, if you look at the standings, Flash are not undefeated. They're actually, I think, tied right now 4-3 with a better game score than RSG, SG, and Kingdom and King. So there's a 4-way tie going on. But it almost seems like Flash are just
like goofing around,
trolling half the time they lose. There's so many times where they just like, they take fights that you would be like, why the hell did they take that? It doesn't look like the normal Flash. And I think it's kind of the same thing as SRG where they're just coasting through regular season and they feel like, oh, dude, there's not much competition here. We're not going to get much out of just battering our opponents, So might as well we put ourselves in sticky situations, see how we do, and learn from that.
I don't know if we're like expecting to see teams possibly challenging Flash 2, since I feel like this season they tried to embrace more of the community participation. And like some of the community teams who are part of MPL SG right now, they actually have some Filipino players too. I think I saw Rapidude. I think he's also there. So I don't know if we'll ever see teams challenge Team Flash, but I agree with like how they seem to just be looking for ways to improve.
Yeah.
Through MPL.
Now I kind of want to move on to ban or pick, where this time we're actually going to be talking about a few heroes that got changes. The Kimmys, the Gloos, the and Shin, which apparently Brigida already brought up here. But the thing is, man, the meta has been stale, man.
What's the
I
thing,
hate
man?
the meta. The meta be looking like 10 different heroes every single time, right? Every once in a while you change the rover here and there, but most of the time it's more or less the same. But this time, Kimmy, Gloo, and and Shin, they're interesting. When I say interesting, I don't like them. Because when they're on my team, they're pretty shit. I don't know if that's going to get censored.
Oh my.
But when the opponent
do
uses
that,
it, it's
but
absolutely amazing.
I would love to do that.
Honestly, like, we're going to start with Briggs because in the Philippines, we trust you guys when it comes to picking good heroes. Kimmy, Gloo, and and Shin, are they actually good or nah?
I haven't seen much of Shin in week 8 of MPL, but at least in other tournaments where I've been casting during the break, I've seen it a lot. And I think it's a given that Kimmy and Gloo are indeed part of the meta already. Like, if there's one thing about Kimmy I really like, it's how flexible it actually is. I like it though. Like the build, it's not just in terms of the role. I know. Like initially, it was introduced more of a mid lane. Then eventually, we see it in the gold more often. But like, even just by changing the role, right, you can switch up the builds a bit. Like you can opt for the glowing one once you're in the mid lane Kimmy, but then once you're in the gold lane Kimmy, you can go for more.
Innocent went
Feather,
concentrated
and
energy
then, like,
into
sometimes-
Sky Piercer. At least that's his build.
Right, and then sometimes I don't know. Like if you experiment in games, some have even been trying like DHS builds just to like shred down tanky heroes, and it works. Like it surprisingly works. Like hybrid builds really work on Kimmy, and I feel like there's even still a debate on whether or not it's the Wind Chant or the Winter Crown that you can pick up for this guy, because like what do you pick for? It depends on you. So like that's one thing about Kimmy. So I feel like it's a pick. It's a pick for Kimmy, Gloo, and maybe Shin.
Here in Malaysia,
Maybe.
we have a professional player bringing and Shin into the gold lane. That's right. JP
I saw
Niners
that.
against
What
SRG,
was
if
it?
I'm not mistaken.
What team was it?
Yeah, Lolios played it. They lost,
So
but at
Lolios
least
played
they
it.
have the guts to bring it. You know, huh?
What was the jungler?
I don't care. I don't
What was the
remember, but
jungler
it's a
alongside
Yisun
the
Shingo.
Yisun
That's
Shin?
all you need to know. All right, this is my segment, Brigida. Have some respect.
Okay.
How dare you ask me the questions? I'm asking you guys the questions. What about you,
I'm
Mirko?
sorry.
Kimmy, Gloo, and and Shin? They good or trash?
I think Yisun Shin's quite trash, honestly. I've faced off against like a lot of Yisun Shins in ranked games as well, and none of them have won. Either my team's really good, or Yisun Shin's bad, or enemy team is pretty bad. But Kimmy Gloo, amazing. I think the changes for Kimmy Gloo are great. I think in Indonesia as well, the Kimmy is now first pick prio, which is ridiculous. It's so good because of the flex potential, in my opinion. It's so good in mid. I think it's, for me, personally, better in mid than it is in gold, from what I've seen. In the gold lane, I think we've only seen RRQ really make it work, like, top-notch level, but all the other teams find it more comfortable to utilize it in mid. So, but just having that flex potential adds so much when it comes to layering in the draft. And when it comes to, again, stopping the stale meta from being a stale meta. Because the Kimmy comes in as a flex pick, there's a lot of other picks that comes in the bans. And then, obviously, a lot of other picks get left open. So, I like that change. The Gloo as well, finally, an addition to the XP. Because, like you said, Laphel, we were getting into some really dangerous territory when we're talking about meta being stale. The XP was literally just what? Badang, Gloo, and Badang, Gatot, and Hylos. That's it. Like, okay, from time to time we see CC because it's a counter to Gatot Hylos. But even then, it was getting really, as Laphel would put it,
I don't know if we
shit.
can have that in the episode, but okay.
Right now with Gloo, don't worry. The editor's just going to be having a bad time. Yeah, it adds another pick. I like it. I like the Gloo. I like the
For
Kimmy.
me,
the
actually,
Yisun Shin.
I
Not so
like
much.
Kimmy the most Of course, you guys got to ask me why. Ask me why. Because
Why?
it
Why?
invites predators.
Because.
Right? Because here's the thing. Whenever a hero gets good, the counterpart gets good too. Right? Because when the Kimmy starts showing up, at least here in Malaysia, people are like, we like to ban the Kimmy. But what about those games that we forget to ban the Kimmy? And we're like, oh no, Kimmy's let through. What do we do then? And that's where SRG introduces the Ling. Right? Like, so now the predators of the Kimmy is really incentivizing more assassin pick in the junglers, the Hayabusa, the what you call it, the Ling, right? And then like the Kimmy is especially good when you know your opponent can only use tanks in the jungle, because what the heck is he gonna do, right? He's gonna walk up to you and then you gonna shoot him, and then I heard that people get hurt. So that's what gonna be. Unless you build a blade armor. And honestly, because of Kimmy as well, Baxia is increasing in popularity because that's kind of what we've been using, right? Use the Tortoise Poissons with the blade armor, even without the vengeance. Kimmy keeps on hitting herself, right? And we're starting to use the Baxia to deal with Gato Kacha and basically any roamers that use Revitalize as a way to cut that in half and then actually win the early game and force fights. So I like with the introduction of these 2.5 heroes, that other heroes that are good against them are starting to come into the meta. So that's what I like. They come in, they get hit, they die, they get silver, but I love it. I love EXP laners, man. I love EXP lane because that's the role that you want to die, you know?
Dude, I love XP laners. I don't love the XP lane. The XP lane is horrible right now. Like, seriously, this is the worst state of XP ever. And it's exactly like you said, Laphel. You jump, you get hit, you die. And then you get silver, and then you're like, all right, team, please carry me.
Yes, you are.
You're a second roamer, and like, you're literally just a second roamer at this point. And sometimes I'm fine when being a second roamer, when I'm on a Padang. I'm fine with that. But when I have to play Hylos and Gatot, god damn it, is this game not fun, dude. Like, MLBB becomes such a bad game when you are forced on Hylos XP for like the billionth time as XP. And I'm not even an XP laner, dude. I'm just trying to imagine myself. Because I say this to Arashi and all the other English casters and Indo casters a lot. I'm like, dude, imagine being Nino. Imagine playing Hylos for like the 8th time in a row. Dude, just like that is torture, my friend.
Mirko, those
that
are my favorite
modern
heroes.
Torture. Laphel, you play it as Rome. There's action a bit. XP laners are just like, we gotta cut, and then
when I play EXP lane, I stay in the lane for 2 minutes.
I think I speak for XP laners.
And then after that, I'm like, yo, jungler, you want that? You want those new ninjas? Which, by the way, guys, the minions and the Lord got a skin before Phobius.
Phobius at this point, we just have to accept the fact that Phobius will never get a skin.
Brigida, don't be
I hope he
positive,
does,
man.
though.
Brigida, what's your thought?
I hope he does,
you know
too.
what? Since we're talking about EXP laners are basically roamers, you can talk about EXP laners. You can talk about roamers. Heck, if you just had a good kick today, you can talk about that too.
I was actually thinking if like this is worse than the entire we only see Uranus and Esmeraldas in the XP lane era.
That's pretty bad too. That's pretty bad.
Dude, yeah, the best XP meta would obviously be like the Lapu Lapus, Yuzong,
And that's what I'm thinking.
Terizla, Mashas.
Because like if we're introducing more and more utility junglers now, then wouldn't those damage XP laners be a little more incentivized?
Yes, exactly. That's what BTR have been trying to do. Onyx have been trying to do as well. When they go for like export jungle, say Baksha jungle, they will utilize a Masha XP. They'll utilize
Masha XP is working in Malaysia,
XP.
by the way.
So, yeah, I think
Masha, it is working in Malaysia.
What XP? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just a BTR thing then. Like a lot of other teams are already utilizing it in other regions too, which again is going to be good. But is it paired up with a utility jungle?
Either
Laphel?
tank or fighter, because we do have a team that uses like Benedetta in the EXP and such.
Yeah.
Like he's the better carry than the jungler, so he will use the damage dealer. It's so good.
What about magic damage,
Like
Laphel?
the thing is, even if you build an Athena and then you build a what you call it? Radiant. Yeah, Radiant armor.
Radiant?
Enough,
Radiant?
dog. You still can get one-shotted by a Joy, by a Hariv. And now you even have Kimmy in the picture. Like, what's wrong with the attack speed heroes, man? Like now I'm getting a bit annoyed. I'm getting a bit angry, a bit dehydrated. All right? Like why all these magic dealers are so good? Is this MLBB or Harry Potter?
Let him drink some water first.
Like, pick one, dog.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? Hey, I've never been a fan of these mages. You know, if I could say, I would say F
B
the
the mages. Wait, no, C the mages. Wait, no, D the mages.
No, none of that. Just no. I mean, I wouldn't ban them from the game. I think they're essential to the game, but having these mages or these they're not even mages. They're magic damage dealers. Like Joy's an assassin, right? Kimmy's a marksman.
I love
and
cat
Harriet's a
boys.
little cat boy.
Wait, no, pause. Not like that. Continue.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to say yeah to that.
What's
but
that?
Even the tanks. Hylos does magic damage.
I think having
God thought does magic damage.
God thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a meta where there's a bit too much, and that's why I think I've seen a strat in Indonesia as well, where they pick Kimmy, they pick Joy, and then they pick Gatot away. So you take away the magic damage dealers, you force your enemies to play physical damage dealers, and then you take Gatot, and then the enemy team's just like, guys, what the hell? Like, we're gonna play Moscow Suyon to this thing?
Magic damage is strong. My problem is that the defense items feel useless, right, Briggs?
Yeah.
I agree.
Or I think he mentioned it in the very beginning. It's probably really technicalities, like compared to how you can choose from like multiple physical defense items or like options, especially in the early stages of the game. I feel like even for just the boots, I think warrior boots are more rewarding, in terms of the numbers in compared to like tough boots. And then you can like opt to go for the dreadnought or like the black the ice the like there were so many adjustments made that you can just pick these items in the early stages,
components,
which is right, very important for like the game over time. But like compared to magic damage, you get the robe and there is no passive. Like you don't get anything out of it
dude.
as
it's
much.
Just base.
So I don't know. It's maybe the technicalities really that a lot
Like
of teams are
everywhere,
taking
like
advantage
it doesn't have to be in the tournaments, man. It goes in rank to the point where you know how sometimes you cast and then your analyst wants to point out the problems, like, oh no, they're all magic damage. It's gonna be easy to itemize against. Hell no! Have you played a tank in this meta, dude? If I built all the magic items, magic defense items over and over again, even skipping the damn boots, I'm gonna die one hit. That feels bad as a tank, man. That feels bad as a tank. Like my best defense against these mages is a Winter Crown.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
stop existing for a few seconds, and then when you come back, you're like, oh no, I saw my kindergarten life. I saw my mom when I was born, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm back in the base. Have you guys had that? Like,
yeah, I think that's fair though.
So
like
bad.
the magic damage dealers have too much power just because, dude, we're adding so many new like with the Starlium Scythe, and then changes to the Lightning Truncheon, the Winter Crown, even the Blood Wings change.
Over the
so many
years.
changes recently. Well, in the grand schemes, not recently, but over the years, we've been seeing like incremental changes to a lot of these magic damage items that give them unique passives, but we're not getting anything else over just the Radiant Armor. Like, the Radiant Armor was the last change for unique passives for magic defense items, and that's the consistent damage. We need to see a bit more, I think,
Even
from
Wishing
Wutan right
Lantern.
now when it comes to magic damage items. At
even
least give us,
Wishing
if it's
Lantern,
not
man.
exactly. And so the Wishing Lantern, the There was another change. I just can't think about it.
Yeah, the
right
glowing
now.
one. Yeah.
Oh, the glowing one, dude. The change of glowing one. Yeah, they've constantly been changing and innovating, like when it comes to magic damage items. But then they're like magic defense.
Glowing one was so
We
good.
didn't see a
Yeah.
change there.
Yeah. What?
Because even like Suyu, right? That was the only thing
Yes!
about Suyu, right? Like
Yeah,
they
oh my
just took away the
God.
magic.
Yeah, they were like, you know what?
It's
You know
true.
what? Let's how to make them weaker. Let's just take
Oh
away the
my
magic
God.
defense or magic damage reduction.
I-
Make it physical damage
Dude,
reduction.
this is a conspiracy.
So it's really
This is a conspiracy.
All right, boys and girls, we're here with the final segment. After all those pretty spicy, redonkulous conversations we've had, we are here at the team fight segment. Still with Brig and Laphel, but we have two very special guests. One a VP, you know who he is, and you know the other one too for sure. World champion coach. We're gonna start by introducing Mr. Coach Tony. How you doing, Coach?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
What about Raja Yeba, Mr. VP?
I'm good, bro.
Chill.
they're
Chillest
just so
dudes on the
chill. They're
planet.
just so chill. I think I should like go in and ask the first question immediately on the top off of the top of my head since we have these very special guests with us, so I wouldn't want to miss this opportunity. So my first question for the both of you, and we could probably start with Coach Ynot, is how do you think a simple coach change gives the instant impact or a boost for a team and they just suddenly perform so well? So some of the examples I could really think of are Team Liquid PH now, Coach RC. Ever since it's been Tic Tac Trevor or Tic Tac CJ Syre, but now that they changed it into RC, you see just how well they're able to perform. They're back in the top spot, and even the VP we have right here, once he actually joined Onyx from Signal Ultra back in season 7, season 8, they suddenly jumped from 7th place to 2nd place. So that's a huge change right there. So starting with Coach Ynot, what are your thoughts about this? Like, how big of an impact is a coach towards a team and their performance?
Well, it could be good, could be bad. I think it really depends on the coach, to be honest. Knowing, the two people or the two coaches that you did mention, I'll start with probably RC. Things that I've heard about him, being all in as a coach, even trying to donate some stuff when something happened with Myanmar. So being that glue, being that positive, person within that group, having all the disappointments that they had in the past, and just gluing them together, I think is very important. And we actually saw that with Coach Yeb as well. Over the past, I think, few weeks in MPL Indonesia, Onyx in Indonesia has been struggling, but having Raja Yeb there suddenly turn the tables around. I mean, it's no secret that he's a very good coach, and I've known him half my life, to be honest. And even when we're playing together, as players in another game, he really was very positive. I was more of the serious one before, even up till now. But having that person as a glue, as a coach, can really change stuff. Even for the good, for the bad, it depends.
So it really has to work hand in hand. But what are Coach Yeb's thoughts about this? I mean, he's been one of their best examples so far for this question. So
Why are
we
you
need to
shaking
hear it
your
from
head, Coach?
himself. Yeah, why are you shaking your head?
I don't know. Who's Coach Yeb?
Because he's VP. Yeah.
VP Raja Yeba. He doesn't go by that anymore. No more Coach Yeb.
No. Well, for me, I think it still depends on the coach because it depends on how he wants to contribute to the team. Because every team have their own different needs, right? So sometimes good, sometimes bad. So going back, I think it depends on how he wants to contribute to the team.
Do you mind telling us, Coach, what Onyx needed? Like, with your comeback to Onyx ID,
Yeah.
what was it that you brought to the table? Was it draft? Was it just the general vibes? What was it?
my dark aura.
Damn. You know
They all
what?
felt your aura.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's one of the best answers. You know, like that's how you not tell your secret, but at the same time you reveal what needs to be revealed. Now, honestly, I kind of want to ask both coaches here, honestly, about players. Right? It's gonna be a very simple question, but I kind of feel like we really need your input, and I think I'm gonna start with Coach Yeb. We're basically two questions. Number one, how do you guys help maintain a player's performance? You know, despite growing older, slow reaction times, meta keeps changing. How do you guys maintain the player's performance? And number two is, at what point do you see that the player has to be replaced? Because I kind of feel like for
Oh.
every team, everyone has this idea like, can this player do more? Is there still more potential, or just gotta call it quits, find a new guy? So let's start with the first one. How do you maintain a player's performance throughout the years?
Mm, for me, how I maintain it is by daily doing reviews, like um, reminding them what we need to do, what our strategies, what our timers, yeah, everything, what we need to do against this composition, yeah.
Mm.
So I think it's like just reminding them every day, and they need to understand it until they live with it. Okay. For the
Mhm.
second question, oh, this one's really hard, but at first, let's say I think one of my players is underperforming.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll give him a chance for another season, but for that next season he still doesn't perform. Yeah, that's my proof that you cannot play anymore. I need to change
Mm.
you.
One
Mm.
season max. Okay.
What
Yeah.
about Coach
No,
Tony?
honestly, like
Oh.
I kind of feel like that kind of honesty is important, right? Like number one, got to keep reminding players what you got to do, and one season, two seasons as a professional team, you got to be the best of the best. So, how about you, Coach? Why not?
Well, definitely I agree with what Coach Yeb said, especially the first one. When we talk about the mechanics or the daily stuff with the players, just want to add something though, probably with the mindset. Just making sure that the players are on the same level of what they want to achieve at something. Because if one wants to win, but the other wants to do some other stuff, with the personal life is not in sync, so I think that's a problem. Now, as for the second thing, though, um, it's our job, the coach's job, to make sure that the players perform to their peak, right? So if they don't, I really don't come up with we need to change this player. It's really the coach's job to make sure that they do. So if it comes to a point that the player is not performing, then probably change the coach. That's just me.
Mm. That's actually a very interesting input. And if I may, there is one more question that I do want to ask. Like based on your experience, both Coach Yep as well as Coach Why Not. Usually, when a player doesn't perform, is it really because of the things that happen in game or outside of game? Because some player, their mental can't really handle the stress of what the fans say about them. Girlfriend problems, family problems, and all those kind of things. Just asking, coming from Malaysia, there's many different problems of why people don't
Yeah.
perform. But I want to know, based on your personal experience, we're going to start with Coach Why Not. Usually, when a player doesn't perform, is it really just because of in-game stuff, or there's things outside of the game that affects how they play?
To me, it's really all about the outside. I mean, you wouldn't get a player that doesn't know how to play, right? You wouldn't get a player. You're a big organization. You pay these people so much money to perform, and I think mechanics are already there. It's just that having those achievements, having all the temptations at this young age. I mean, here in the Philippines, you're not really used to earning so much money at this particular age, right? So I'm not really sure in Indonesia, not really sure in
Same.
Malaysia, but here it's like that, and given that much power, you tend to do some stuff that can distract you. So I think that's it.
For me, I think it's both because I've already witnessed and experienced that some players, for example, they just have 2 to 3 heroes. They only
Mm.
know 2 to 3 heroes, and no one teach them how to use another hero. So if the meta changes, it affects them a lot. So with the out game, it's very huge. I mean, there's so many problems that can affect a player, especially mentality. Uh, for the mentality, I'm pretty sure if they don't have it, they cannot perform in the big stage.
I actually have a follow-up question, Coach. I think we'll start with then Coach Yeb. The longevity of a player on average, based on you, both of you guys, right? I want to know for you guys, how long does a player have usually when they play professionally in MPL? And this one is a big one. Does age matter? Because I think in different esport titles, we've seen that there are older players, 30, 40-year-olds that still do really, really well, but in Indo or in Malaysia and Philippines, when it comes to MLBB, we seem to think, all right, if you reach 25, you're too old as a player. I mean, that's the general social media consensus
Yeah.
on the age. Coach
Coach
Yeb?
Yeb?
Oh, what's the first question? I
The
forgot.
first question, longevity. On average, the longevity of a player based on your experience. How long?
It depends on his age. Maybe 3 to 5. It depends. Again, it depends
Okay.
on how gifted that player is. For the next question, does age matter? I think yes, but based on my experience and Coach Tony's experience, I just want to share. Before we tried to play competitive in Mobile Legends, and our age that time was almost 30, like 28, 29. But we can still compete. Why? Because we just use our experience. They're better with their mechanics, but we're smarter.
Oh.
So again, it depends how you want to play. If you're old but you still want to play like Joe, mechanic heroes, I think it's a bit hard, right?
Mhm.
So it depends how you want to master your gameplay
I see.
with your age. Yeah.
What about you, Coach Tony?
Yeah, he's good laughing.
It's actually, it's more of the same. I mean, the first question that you had, it depends on what age the player starts. So if you're like, Cartesi, you probably have, uh, a long window. It just depends on your mentality. It just depends on what you want. If you want to pursue, that gaming career, you're going to strive hard. But if you're already good, then it's fine. 2 years, 3 years is fine. Having those championships. But if you're older, kind of like me when we went in. So yeah, because at 31, I qualified for MPL PH season 4. So uh, did that with. Not so young players as teammates. I think the only young player that we had was Curtisi. So um, I only managed to play a year. It was because I realized that I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this already. So yeah, um, longevity. Yeah, it depends on when you started, but also on the
Mhm.
mind.
All right. And now my question is honestly now like the opposite, right? More of the youngins because I've seen players 16 years old, godly mechanics, right? But then when it comes to playing on the stage, they're very confident to the point where they're kind of cocky, right? They're so confident in their own mechanics that sometimes they don't even follow the game plan, right? The coaches already given instruction, but they're like, screw it. I know better. I know how to get the kills, blah, 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 and all those kind of things. So I think I'm going to start with Coach Yeb. Like when a new player comes in, 16 years old, incredible mechanics, but in terms of the discipline is a bit iffy, all right? Not
Yeah.
entirely following the game plan and stuff like that. So how would you go about with that kind of player? What kind of advice would you give to upcoming rookies?
For me, of course, I'll let him do what he wants, but I need to let him understand that we need to win, not the highlights,
Mm-hmm.
because the highlights have more risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Simple.
All right. What about Coach Why Not?
Yeah, it's more of the same. I mean, you wouldn't want to restrict, this players of, high caliber to moves on your mind, because again, us, yes, we are very disciplined at our age. We view the game this way, but the players, they have their own view, and it tends to change in game. So it's more of, asking options for me,
Mm-hmm.
looking for the better options. But yeah, we just let them be. To be honest, it's tough when you're trying to restrict the players, right?
Okay. I probably have like one last question for my end. Like, since this was, I think, something we did talk about in the first podcast, and now we have actual coaches alongside us, so I think it's nice to have their thoughts about it. But like, um, what do you think of like teams and their like how they trust the process? Because like there are teams who just really like stick, or in your experience there are teams who just really stick with a particular roster and they just try to keep rebuilding from there, but like for some it seems like after a failed attempt it requires an immediate change, or it requires that you immediately replace players here and there, or you change something major, be it the staff or all that. So like, what are your thoughts about this, or like where does the balance come into play? Are you more of a like trust the process kind of guy, or are you like, based on what you said earlier, like 1 year tops, if you don't perform you gotta get changed or something like that? So probably can go first, Coach. Why not?
Yeah, I'm with the Sixers with that. Trust the process. I think it's very important that um, you look at progression more than actual results instantly, because you can't really expect results to come in, especially when it's the playoffs already. I mean, regular season could be different from the playoffs. The atmosphere is very different. But yeah, definitely, building that mental fortitude, building that camaraderie throughout, a longer period of time. I think that's more important for me.
Coach Yeb.
Um, for me, I think every team's using the trust the process, right? But the real question is, do they really understand what that means? What I'm trying to say is, um, they need to find the problem first and find a solution, and then and
Mm.
then next, what kind of process do they want to use? So it really depends on how they want, not just by saying just trust the process, stay with this roster. I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying the truth, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We like the truth. It's okay. We can be toxic here, coach.
No, we love
We
it. We
love
love
it.
it.
Welcome to Gank
Yeah,
and
we love it.
Gather.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have anything else to say about that, coach? Because that's very interesting. So, okay, they have to understand what process to change. Not it's not just like, all right, so
Yeah.
use the same roster and we will go again next season, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I would say, like, just to follow up on that, like, usually what are like a list of problems, right? Because I think, like, on the surface, okay, the players might be a problem, the coaches might be a problem, the management might be a problem, right? But sometimes, like, in terms of the things that the people don't see, what are the problems that could arise that you have to work on? Because, as viewers from outside, we just speculate, but we don't really know what's going on with a team. So let's start with Coach. Why not? Like, besides roster, coaches, and management, is there any real problems that the people just don't know about?
How long is this segment? I think we're gonna need the whole day,
Oh,
to talk about problems.
Okay, it's nice to know there's actually
a
a lot
ton
of
of
problems.
problems,
All right,
yeah?
cool,
There
cool, cool.
is. It's very
I
holistic.
agree.
It's overall. There are so many factors that could go wrong. If we look in the game itself, the mechanics of the game itself, it's very tough. When looking at patch changes every couple of months, but definitely apart from that, again, making sure that everyone is on the same page, making sure that um, everyone has that discipline, which is sometimes tough, especially when because you're trying to handle kids,
Mhm.
right? And that's a problem with some teams, but some teams the problem is the coach itself,
Mm.
right? I hear Mirko talk about that a lot.
Yeah. I'm talking about you, Coach Yeb. Well, thank you so much, Coach Ynot, Coach Yeb. We're going to be ending the show right here, right now, with no more segments. I'm just kidding. We have fan flames for you guys to answer some more, all right? Don't worry, Yeb and Ynot. You're going to be here, even without talking about your problems, Coach Ynot, you're going to be here the whole day, all right? We got some questions, so, all right. Brig, why don't you ask Coach Ynot and Coach Yeb the first question?
Okay. So the first question is, do you guys think that RRQ Hoshi will win the MPL ID or will win this season in MPL ID? Because apparently the fan who asked this question misses RRQ Hoshi winning this season. So I feel like we should ask Coach Yeb first about this.
Yeah, he's excited to answer
He's
that
so
question.
excited.
Very excited.
I mean, for me, everyone can win the MPL, right? Everyone can be a champion, but I hope it will be my team.
Very
Okay.
professional. Very professional. Love it.
He didn't skip. He
Must
didn't
be a
skip.
VP or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, Coach, why not? As someone in the Philippines and
Yeah.
watching the MPL ID, what are your thoughts about this?
Objectively speaking, RQ she's a very good team, but yeah, it really all depends on strategies being prepared for the playoffs, and if someone else is more prepared, then they'd probably be the one who deserves to win. And having Onyx Indonesia, uh, watching them, their preparation with Raja Yeb, yeah, they'd give RQ a good fight, I think.
What about this team, hey?
Yeah, the BTR.
Ah, nice.
Edomax, yeah, no, really.
Team
Okay.
As long
McDonald's.
as Edomax protects his airline, they'd be good.
All right.
Oh
Well,
my
there you go,
gosh.
guys. All right, let's ask the next question then. Coming up,
Yep.
we have another question. I'll ask this one, Laphel. Do you guys
Sure.
prefer macro skill? But this is from Cherubim. Do you guys prefer macro skill or mechanically skilled players? And what are the differences and similarities between Onyx ID and Onyx Philippines? So I think we'll start with Coach Ynot here.
Come on, I want both. You have to have both to play at the highest level. So if your team is not that good in macro, then it's your job to teach them, good macro plays. Make sure that they have good knowledge with that. If they're not mechanically skilled, then they're not supposed to be an MPL, to be honest. I think that's just the harsh reality, right?
Yeah.
Come on,
Yes.
everyone
We like
Yeah,
that.
of course.
professionally should be good, should be great.
Facts.
And I think the similarities between both teams, I think both teams have awesome, if not, the best mid trio
Yeah.
in the world. So you have, Kiboy, Sans, and definitely Kyrie. And you have Friends, Brusco, and King. I think they both work well. As for the side lanes, I think Savero is better than Kelra. Because Kelra
That's a hot take.
is... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man. All right. Yeah.
Just
But,
kidding, just kidding.
all right, okay, but what if, let's say, you just had to choose between mechanics or macro? If you just had to choose for a player.
For a player, definitely macro. I
Okay.
think macro.
Okay.
What about you, Coach Yeb?
If I have to choose one, just one,
Mechanics or macro?
I'll prefer mechanics because I can teach the macro.
I see. Okay. So, what's the differences between your team and Coach Ynot's team? Well, technically both are your. You get it.
Yeah.
The difference between Onyx Philippines and Indonesia, obviously, the country, right? The language, right? The food, yeah. That's
Oh my
difference.
god.
But the similarities between Onyx Indonesia and Onyx Philippines, I think they both have the youngest coaches in this.
Wow.
Oh my
this,
God.
Of course.
in esports.
You want
That's
to
a
name
fact.
them?
Yeah, that's
You
Yeah.
want to name the youngest
Just-
coaches?
Coach Yeb and Coach Ynot.
Oh, okay.
I heard
Can
they just
your
hit
age,
21 or
what's-
something.
Yeah, 21. Are you 21? What's your age, Coach?
You guys just hit 21?
You're very good. How do you know it?
Oh.
Instagram stories. Yeah.
But like Coach Ynot
What about
said
you, Coach
were
Ynot?
I'm just sweet 16.
16. Whoa! Even younger than most players. I hit all players. That's man. I didn't know you guys were that young. So, wow. All right.
I didn't know that.
Dude,
That's
they
20 years ago.
They just skip high school and just went straight to college, you know?
Dude, they didn't even go to school. They went full MLBB, dude.
Anyways, I guess I'll ask the final question. Of course, this is gonna be the name. Angelo Notoni 9744. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce the name. Angelo Notoni 9744. He or she or they or them asks, how does the team prepare physically and mentally to face the grand final match? Oh, that's intense. Do they even
That's a good
prepare
question.
themselves physically? Coach Yeb, how do teams usually prepare physically, mentally, heck, spiritually?
I think for this one, nothing different because the preparation you have to do it before the season starts.
Yeah.
You have to prepare until the grand finals, because if you prepare before the grand finals, I think it's too late,
Mm-hmm.
right? So before the season starts, your mentality, your physical, whatsoever, you have to prepare it beforehand. Yeah.
See, interesting. Coach,
What about you, Coach? Why not?
Yeah. For me, I think it was all shown on M6. You know, the documentary. It was there.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, apart from that, players they do go to the gym regularly. It's just Kirk who's the softie that doesn't go to the gym because he's just a stupid kid. But as for the others, yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more or less you know what Coach Yeb said. It's a year preparation, to be honest, and I think the most important part is again, you know, just making sure that you guys trust each other, trust what you guys are doing, and yeah, just play Tekken with Mirko, I guess.
See, that's facts. That's actually
Yeah.
facts right there.
That's
So,
an
all the other
interesting way
players.
to prepare. Yeah, like usually like before a cast, like I would just like solidify my bond with my teammates just by spitting in their drinks. But I guess I should try your approach. I think you guys' approach is
That's
a bit more.
nice.
Yeah, like I
That's a good
kind of
tip.
feel like bodily fluids really is intimate, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that's how you build chemistry without even talking. You know? But that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
that's true, man. Maybe
You painted
maybe
a very graphic picture there.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe it
Job
should
as a
just stay
caster.
with you, Dolof. I don't think any of the coaches out there should listen to that advice. But I think that means we're done with the segments. We're done with the Fan the Flames. We're done with the Team Fight segments where we get some really, really insightful stuff from both Coach Ynot and Coach Yeb. That's what we call you, Coach Yeb. Because
Coach.
when the coaching names come out, everybody just has their name. You have Coach Yeb. You have your title and your name. So we call you Coach Yeb. Coach Ynot, Coach Yeb, thank you so much, guys, for joining us here in Gank and Gather for the first time. Very insightful answers to all the esport teams out there who are just planning to trust the process. Don't be stupid, okay? Try to solve the issue. Don't just trust the process. Listen to Raji Yeb and Coach Ynot. You want to say anything else, Coach Yeb, Coach Ynot, before we end the show?
Nothing.
They're just like the players in
They're just
interviews. They just don't
laughing.
want to say anything, man. All right, then. I don't want to say anything either.
Yeah. If I were to say anything, I would just say be careful of people stealing your clothes when you are hanging them outside. It really depends on where you live, but just be careful of that because people be nasty sometimes. They might do voodoo. You got to be
The-
careful. Yeah.
The only thing
Yeah,
I
it
want to
happened
say,
yesterday actually.
Really,
I
really.
lost my boxers yesterday. Yeah,
Someone stole your box. Oh my.
his what?
Well, his boxers.
my boxers.
Oh, I wish I didn't hear.
I think Kirk got it, and
I feel
I
like
think he's wearing it right now.
I feel like boxes are hard to steal because it really depends on the body, right?
All right. Hey.
Because
Listen,
I kind of feel like my body doesn't fit a lot of the other Malaysians.
this is gonna be
So it'll be a
another
little bit too
podcast. Listen, Laphel. This topic it fits in another podcast with the same
got
name,
it.
just with a different, different whole set of topics there. But Brig, end the show for us.
If there's one thing I can say, do not do Laphel's warm up to build chemistry
Yeah,
with his
don't.
colleagues.
Really.
That is all I
I
can
have
say.
others,
Thank you so
okay.
much to our guests. Thank you so much, Mirko Laphel. We'll see you in the next episode where hopefully we don't get any more tips from Laphel.
Amen.
Yeah, so
Amen.
sure.
Gank and Gather.
Thank you guys.